I am in a secret location, and I must hide my identity. I have for you the secrets of the universe, procured from the Nobel Laureate John Mather. Yes, I am a double agent, but my espionage is for the greater good. After all, what are national, international, intergalactic borders anyway? Please, come, give me your black market dollars. I have the secrets. Let me first ask you the brilliant question that John Mather opened with. How is it that the laws of nature and of nature's God lead to Thomas Jefferson and his body's declaration that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal? It is mind-blowing how we are sitting here, sentient beings, contemplating the hows and whys of existence. It is mind-blowing how life came to be, and such complex life at that. From the explosion of a single fantastic, peculiar particle whose matter expanded into the known universe, and is still expanding into the unknown. Yes, the universe began with the Big Bang, or as we physicists, Russian spies, and Calvin and Hobbes like to joke, the horrendous space kablooey. First, I will tell you how we came up with the simplest form of the Big Bang theory, that the universe is expanding from a singularity, actually, infinite matter particle. Lemaitre reviewed Einstein's theory of general relativity around the time of World War I to study the origin of the universe, because before the question had only thought experiments or old theories that had any scientific explanatory power to answer it. As with Einstein's calculations 10 years earlier, Lemaitre's calculations showed that the universe was either shrinking or expanding. Einstein imagined an unknown force called the cosmological constant, which kept the universe stable because he couldn't fathom a universe that was expanding. Lemaitre, however, concluded that the universe was expanding based on his observations of redshift. He published this theory in 1927, and Einstein told him, "Your calculations are correct, but your grasp of physics is abominable." Einstein would retract this statement and quote, this statement and his conception of the cosmological constant was the biggest blunder of his career. Indeed, the universe was expanding, as told by redshift, theorized by Lemaitre, and confirmed by Hubble's telescope. Redshift describes the phenomenon of galaxies moving farther away from each other. As light from distant galaxies approaches the Earth, there is an increase of space between Earth and the galaxy, which leads to wavelengths being stretched. When looking at telescope pictures, an object like a star or galaxy that is far away and moving toward us will look more blue than it normally does, which is called blue shift. Now, a star or galaxy moving away from us will look more red than it should, which is where the redshift got its name. Okay, so the Big Bang. Universe has been continuously expanding, and then there's more and more distance between clusters of galaxies. So this inherently suggests that before, all objects in the universe were closer together. And even before that, even closer together. Even before this, all the objects in the universe were infinitesimally close. At the beginning, a single speck. Hence the Big Bang. Okay, now, understanding the velocity of the galaxies emanating from a single point is not the only evidence that we have for the Big Bang. There is also a radioactive aftermath of the initial explosion. So in 1964, two astronomers, Penzias and Wilson, who were working for a commercial satellite company, were fiddling with a satellite when it picked up some extraterrestrial radioactivity, some radiation, excess radiation. They said, where did it come from? But they found out that it was not the bird poop on the satellite, it was not, the broken satellite, it was in fact radioactive aftermath of the initial explosion, and they won the Nobel Prize for that one. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so what is this Big Bang? Specifics: 13.7 billion years ago, immense explosion that created all of matter, space, time, energy. Within the first few seconds of this expansion, the basic forces of nature produce gravity, strong force, weak force, and electromagnetic force. Inherent to these forces are the fundamental particles of quarks, electrons, photons, and neutrinos. From these particles, you have the protons and neutrons beginning to form. And the basic elements could begin to form after the third minute, when these protons and neutrons could come together to form the nuclei of the simple elements, hydrogen and helium, which is what the universe is largely made up of today. And this Big Bang theory explains perfectly the abundance that we have today of the helium and the hydrogen. So up to about 500,000 years after the Big Bang, the universe is this, vast, hot, gaseous cloud still expanding, but it's also cooling down. And upon reaching this critical threshold of temperature, the electrons combined with the hydrogen and helium in a reaction that emitted the photons that we can still see. This is the radiation that Penzias and Wilson discovered in 1964. It's just that with distance and time, these photons have shifted into microwave wavelengths. We use this radiation as a window into the early universe. Okay, so now about 1 million years after the Big Bang, we have these slight irregularities in the density of the primordial gas interacting with gravity, such that even as the universe continued to expand, pockets of gas become more and more dense. Stars come out of these pockets, and groups of stars form galaxies, and the galaxies merge. Stars are born and die within these galaxies, and when they die, these elements of carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, iron were formed and blown into the space to seed future generations of stars. This is a picture of what I am describing. I hope that you can see it at your location when these stars die and they explode, into these elements are dispersed vastly into the universe. But I must stop the story here because I believe that my position has been compromised. Research on the interwebs for more and reflect that in the eloquent and awe-inspiring words of physicist Mather, your chin is made of exploded stars. That we are all of recycled matter, a star-worthy conception of the force, That all of these discoveries happened within the last century by smart, curious, actionary, and patient minds. Mather and his colleagues will unearth more with their remarkable Webb telescope, it's true. Perhaps you will as well. More secrets for me to steal and pass on. Thank you very much.